sit down somewhere?
Mom, he's picking on me.
If you know your party's extension, please dial it now.
Houston, we have a problem.
Sick of all this complaining all the time.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Welcome, everyone, to Multitasking in Heels. Whether you had a blissfully amazing week or muttered what the actual fuck under your breath an unprecedented number of times, you survived. So congratulations, and thank you so much for joining us today. Lindsay and I are very excited to bring you our guest. In addition to being an accomplished voiceover actor and certified TikTok celebrity, Joe is also a dad of 2 little kids. So he's here to provide us with the male/dad perspective on all things parenting, marriage, career, etc., which will definitely give our respective husbands some vindication. Linz, I think. So welcome to the podcast, Joe.
Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. So I think you are familiar with our pump and flat segments that we open our podcast with, where you have an opportunity to share your highest of highs and your lowest of lows this week. So, lay on us, Joe. How was your week?
It was. I think the highs and the lowest of lows was all on the same day. It was. I think it was Wednesday or Tuesday or Wednesday. I was doing like press interviews and stuff like that for some projects I have coming up, and they were going well. And I was like, oh, this is great. And it was the last interview of the day. I had signed off the Zoom meeting, and I looked down, and my fly was open the whole time. The whole time. So in the one day, highs, lows, and I just, are you kidding me? And it was framed, so I'm pretty sure so I was just emailing everybody. Any chance we can just like crop the video an inch higher? Because I'm sitting there wide open. Boxers, I'm just like, well, this is great. So it was good.
Oh my
So
God.
It humbled me really quick. I was like, oh, I'm such a cool dude, and I'm getting interviewed. I'm talking with all these hosts, and then, nope, dude, Superman was flying low, and it was pretty embarrassing. But I'm like, what are you gonna do? So
That's amazing. Well, you're not alone, Joe, because my husband, for whatever reason, at least 4 to 5 times a week, I'm like, dude, your fly's down again. Your fly's down again. Your fly's down again. Like, he'll come in from getting the mail after like chatting up a neighbor for 10 minutes. He's like, shit, my fly was down the whole time I was talking to Ann. I'm like, this is a problem. So we get it. You're definitely not alone. Linz, how was your week?
The week was another challenging week of 2020. My pump moment was brought to us by our guest, Joe. So when I asked Joe to be on the show, we have a segment called What's in the Box. And when we were trying to name it, we were thinking of clever things to name it. And then we just landed on something simple, What's in the Box. And when we originally were talking about it, the first thing that comes to mind, of course, is Brad Pitt from Seven. And so I was like, Joe is the first person that came to mind. So I contacted him on LinkedIn and thought, okay, Joe, you do everyone. I haven't seen you do Brad Pitt, but can you do Brad Pitt? And Joe got back to me and was like, I haven't done Brad Pitt before. I'm not sure I can do him. And I said, we first of all want a male perspective on our podcast. But secondly, could you also do Brad Pitt from Seven, What's in the Box? And sure enough, Joe nailed it.
It's a 4 out of 10. Don't flatter. It's a 4.
It's awesome.
It was like, I watched the clip. I haven't seen the movie in years, and I just watched it, and I went, okay, let me just try it. So I just turned the gain down, yelled a bunch of times, what's in the box? And then I was like, okay, cool. All right, got it.
Hey,
It was in the
nailed
ballpark.
it.
I was like, that's in the ballpark. Sure, that's fine. It's fine.
You nailed it, because we'll let our listeners hear and
Yeah.
they can be the judge. My flat moment was a good friend came down with COVID this week, and like came down like you come down with a cold.
Yeah.
And she was having a really hard time, and I had it at the very beginning of when COVID was becoming a thing and no one really quite knew what it was. And so she was asking me, hey, I had a really good day, and then I thought I was over a hump, and then I had 3 horrible days. And it brings you back down to a really low place. And so I was trying to talk her through it, and it's just one of those things that you feel really bad. Um, and then I also felt really sympathetic and empathetic for her, and just trying to remind everybody that the world is still in this pandemic and going through a lot. So, Liz, what were your pump and flat moments?
So my pump moment, as you know, Lindsay, I detest grocery shopping. I would rather be waterboarded than go to a grocery store. So I get my groceries delivered. So, you know, I don't have to set foot in a large grocery store. So last week, they came and delivered all the groceries, and I had all the bags on the kitchen floor and starting to open everything up. And I realized there were 3 bags that had the name Sharon Baldwin on them. Not my name. So I was like, oh shoot, these are someone else's groceries. So I called the market and I said, the driver left these 3 bags. They don't belong to us. And she said, well, we can't take them back because of COVID. And I said, okay. And she said, so you can keep them. So I told her like what all the contents of the bags were. So this poor woman and her family could get the groceries that they needed. There's a lot of dairy items in these bags. There were 3 dozen eggs, 12 things of yogurt, 2 huge things of cottage cheese. And so I'm mildly concerned about the cholesterol level of the Baldwin family. But I was like, all right, so we have all this extra food. And we even looked into donating it to the food cupboard, but they're not taking donations because of COVID. So we were left with Sharon Baldwin's groceries. And every time we went into the refrigerator to get like a yogurt or make eggs, we're like, thank you, Sharon Baldwin. Thank you, Sharon Baldwin. But one of the things that was in the bags was stuff to make homemade pizza. So we were trying to figure out what to make for dinner last weekend. And Dan's like, oh, let's make Sharon Baldwin's pizza. I'm like, okay, cool. And we thought it'd be like a nice family activity. But my little ones, for whatever reason, weren't into it at all. But Will, my 7th grader, was like, oh yeah, that'll be super fun. So the 3 of us, Dan, Will, and I made homemade pizzas, and it wasn't this huge moment, but as you know, Linz, because you have a 7th grade son as well, the time that they want to spend with us is almost non-existent. Like he'll play video games with Dan, but he doesn't really want to do stuff with me. You know, I'm a loser and not cool. So the fact that he wanted to make pizza with us was really fun, and we never get to really do that much with just him. We're usually like dividing and conquering with the 3 kids and everything. So just thank you, Sharon Baldwin, for giving me a little moment of fun with my son, because it was, you know, nice for us to do something together with him. We did end up making a monetary donation to the food cupboard in Sharon's name because I felt like we had to pay this forward. You know, I felt like almost guilty keeping her food, you know, but
Right.
but we ate it, and it was lovely, and it gave us that little moment with Will. So my flat moment. So I am one of 3 girls. I have 2 younger sisters, and that did not properly prepare me for raising 2 boys who are very physical. Everything turns into a wrestling match. Everything is a gun. Everything can be turned into potty talk, whatever. So my 2 boys are wrestling, like wrapped in a blanket, wrestling on the floor last weekend. And they're being so loud. And it's like 6 o'clock. And I'm trying to read my book. And I'm like, knock it off. Stop it. You're going to get hurt. You're being too loud. Like a little like chihuahua, like yapping at them. And then Will goes, Mom, we're just having fun. And I was like, oh my God. I'm such a loser. And they were just having fun. They weren't trying to hurt each other. They weren't being mean. They were literally just trying to have fun. And it reminded me of that scene in The Office where Michael Scott calls Toby a thief of joy. And I was being a thief of joy in that moment with my kids. And so I said, you know what, Will, you're right. You're just having fun. And I took my book and I went in the other room so I didn't have to like see it or hear it. And I need to do that more often as a parent. I insert myself too much with my kids to either resolve their conflicts, or if I feel like they're being too much and I personally can't handle it, I get annoyed, and that's my problem, not theirs. And they weren't really doing anything wrong. So that was my thief of joy, being a thief of joy was my flat moment. So yeah. So Joe, we're so excited to have you here. We wanted to kind of kick this episode off with you talking about being a business owner and a father, and how you balance all of those things, and how that's going during COVID, and how you and your wife kind of manage the kids during this crazy time, and you're growing your business. So yeah, tell us all about that.
Definitely, it's stressful in a good way, because now that the kids are back in school, they're not doing the distance learning and stuff like that. So they're finally back in school, and they get up at around 6:30, 7 o'clock and start to get ready. So I'm up every day at 5:30, and I need to get an hour and a half of like marketing and follow-ups before they even wake up. And then it's an hour getting ready. And then when they finally go to school, I can kind of hop in the booth and do all that. And then they come home, and I'll spend time with them till they go, to bed. And then after they go to bed, I'm back in the booth. So there's a lot of just juggling stuff and knowing that I got to get up early to get stuff in during the day. And it beats working a regular job. It really does. I always say, never say never, but in this case, I'm like, I never want to sit in a cubicle again and just work just a boring job. And I'm grateful I've been able to do this full time for 7 years. And definitely the parenting is a lot harder than the business side of it, because I don't have to talk I do Zoom calls all day. I do phone calls and follow up with clients, and there's meetings and there's creative parts of that, which I enjoy, because most of the voiceover business is they'll send you scripts. They don't want to talk to you. They just want the audio, and you do. So working as like a team is like my favorite thing, like doing stuff face to face, like we're doing. I crave that, because you're constantly, like this. And then you don't want to carry it over into parenting, because you got to realize, oh, they're kids. I can't talk to them like they're a creative director. and I'll get caught up in that work, but I wish I was better at parenting than I was at voice. Because if I could be as great as parenting as I am at voiceover and stuff, I'd be like, oh, dad of the year. And it's like, it is the most stressful thing being a parent. So it's,
we talk about this all the time, Joe, that we're better at our jobs, unfortunately, than being a parent.
But
and it sucks to say that out loud.
Yeah, no, but it's one of those things. It's like and I'll include my kids in my business every now and then with post on TikTok or whatnot and stuff. But it's a genuine moment. I don't want to be like, now we're gonna do a video, because I don't want I don't like the phoniness of it. But like, I wish that when people comment, oh, you're such a good dad, this is such a wholesome move, you're seeing the best of the best. You're not seeing the kids swearing every now and then. I'm like, where do you hear that? Like, where? Oh yeah. Or if it comes out, Daddy, don't say that. Oh man, I'm sorry, buddy, or I'm sorry, Audrey, or Will. It's like they'll catch you on that, and they don't know the best parent in the world. They don't know the worst parent in the world. They just know you. So they just think, hey, this is I'm living the dream. And but yeah, every day I go to bed and I look at them sleep, and I'm like, it's worth it. It's worth it having them like, oh, they look so sweet. I'm like, in an hour before, they're just screaming, slamming their doors, and I'm like, oh, I wish I never had kids. And then like a year and a half, I'm like, do we want one more? And then there's this moment, no, we're done. No.
And how old are your kids, Joe?
4 and 6.
Yeah.
So it is like they go at it. They're best buddies. It's like it's like stepbrothers. They're at each other's necks the whole time, and then they want to go play karate in the garage 5 minutes later. Like, it's like, are you kidding me? Like, they're best of friends, but they're good when it counts. I have the parent-teacher conferences, and my son was at a weird age where he would have tantrums all the time. He'd go to school, Angel does, and I'm like, well, that's where it counts. And then you talk to the Christian, it's like, you can be an a-hole at home because that's feel safe. And I'm like, yeah, but can we give him something so it doesn't like feel safe? So he can just kind of like, but it's not, it's not the military in the house. It's give him shelter, give him food, give him the confidence to be on their own and stuff like that. And that's all I want. And at the end of the day, it's just like, if as long as they're not jerks, that's what, like, I just care about, are they good people?
Yes.
When it counts, that's what it's about. Don't kill anybody, it's just so simple, but it's like, I did not know it was going to be this hard.
Yeah, I agree. You say it's so simple, but you're constantly questioning, am I doing the right thing to make sure I'm turning them into good people, and you just don't know.
Every parent's different. We have friends who have 2 girls, 2 boys, a boy and a girl, and it's like, everybody is different. It doesn't matter if the kids are the same age. It doesn't matter if you all hang in the same circles. It's every kid is different. And it is so frustrating. And I'm starting to go gray which is okay. I'm okay. I'm like, is this a gray? I mean, I'm 36. It's getting time to be gray, but I'm like, I see one right there. Or if my beard gets really long, I'm like, white. There's screw it. Like, so it's, but it's I can't even talk. It gets so frustrating. But at the end of the day, it's all worth it. It really is.
And having 2 kids, so you have a boy and a girl?
Yes.
So I have 2 boys and a girl. You realize that the way you parent them, it's not a one size fits all type of box.
Right.
The way I parent my oldest is very different than the way I parent the other 2 because they need different things from us. I discipline them differently. I console them differently. I encourage them differently because they respond to things in different ways. And I naively thought going into parenthood, like, this is going to be the way I approach discipline. And this is going to be the way I encourage my children. And it's like, well, that worked for one, but it doesn't work for the other 2. And that's, really frustrating because you constantly feel like you're, looking for that manual or that playbook. Like, why didn't this thing come with directions?
Right. And you're constantly sitting there going, what, why can't you be more like, but you don't want to say it. You don't want them to get a complex. But then you had the first kid, and my son's high strung like me. And I'm like, is that because of me? Or is it because my parenting? And then my daughter, she is just so laid back. I'm like, do you want anything to eat? Yeah, can I have an orange? Oh, really? And my son, you want an orange? And it's like, why can't you guys just like, and then it's just like the first kid, you can't Control C, Control V. It's not copy paste. And then you'd be like, it comes back to that frustration thing, but it's seeing them grow up and having their own personality because they're polar opposites, but they bring out the best in each other. They bring out the best in us. And that's great because you don't want the kids to be the same. You just, the same behavior in terms of like being obedient and stuff like that. But at the same time, life would be boring if everybody just obeyed everything you said. And that's how we grow. That's how we grow as parents. It's like, I learned that from the situation. And you want them to learn from teaching them what to do and what not to do. And at the same time, like, I'm not even following my own parenting advice, so, and you're at the end of the day with a couple of drinks and going, oh man, I was just an idiot today. And then you start over tomorrow. I can't dwell on yelling at my son for the stupid thing. Or I'm going to embarrass you in front of the whole neighborhood if you don't come in the house right now. Stop throwing your bike. Stop, no, you pick it up. And I'm like, are you serious right now? And then take a deep breath. I'm really good at just taking a deep breath, walking away and ignoring him because he'll be like, oh, what did I do wrong? Because he's not yelling. And it's...
silence is almost scarier.
I feel very much like Jimmy Dugan from A League of Their Own. Just Tom Hanks. That is my parenting style. And then I'm like, no. You just got to be relaxed but it's
hard in those moments. And so my oldest has a really bad temper and I have a really bad temper. And so when he loses it, and I said this to someone, I said, it's the worst parenting moment is when you see the worst trait that you have come out in your child. And I'm telling him, I'm like such a hypocrite. I'm telling him, you can't, react like that. You got to take a deep breath, just blah, blah, blah. And meanwhile, I'm like, losing my mind every 5 minutes. But yeah, it's really sobering to see these qualities that you pass down in your children. You're like, that's not the one I wanted you to get. I wanted you to get my sense of humor, not my bad temper.
Absolutely.
So Joe, one of the things Lindsay and we were talking about earlier was, our husbands get furious every time they read an article about how difficult mothers and working mothers have it during the pandemic and how we're the ones that are really suffering and the dads sort of get a pass or aren't feeling the effects of this pandemic and remote learning or hybrid learning or whatever. So we wanted to get your perspective. Do you feel like dads are getting unfairly judged or do you feel like there's another side of the coin there?
Well, it depends what side you're on. I mean, I have the best of both worlds. I'm probably on both sides of the coin because I work from home and I'm, raising the kids at the same time. My wife is too, but it's like I'm home more because I just work from home. I have in my house. I walk 20 feet to the studio and here I am. But it really depends. I just think there's still a stereotype of like, women being so sensitive and women doing like, I don't know what my opinion is because I'm here and that's all I know. I don't know, I was never like that macho dude. dude. I was never like, the men should do this. It's just like, I don't care. Just stop whining. Like, why
Yeah.
don't you just that's what it comes down to. Stop whining. You got a job to do. Just do it. It's being home is tough. It is really tough. I leave my house more often now than at the beginning of COVID, but like, I remember from late February till like June, I left my house 4 or 5 times
Yeah.
because I don't have to go anywhere. I have everything here, and I'll go to the store every now and then. But most of the stuff was delivered from like Amazon and stuff like that. But even the grocery shopping was
Delivered.
Yeah.
I see more women grocery shopping when I go, and then in my head I'll think, do they think I'm a stay-at-home dad and a loser? And then that's where society would get you to go, oh, wait a second. No, I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I normally don't care what people think anyways, but like you start to think like, are they going to think I don't work too?
Yes.
Mhm.
But then when people think, oh, women don't work, they just stay at home. That is a hard gig. Because I remember my son was born. My wife went back to work. I was just home at that point. My son was born. I quit my job because my income from my job was here. My voiceover was all the way down here, and I slowly built it up so I could go bye job, peace out, and I could raise my son at home while I can work. And that's how I kind of got that feeling like, wow, women, traditionally, historically have it. It's not a good gig. They'd much rather be out working and making money and providing.
Mhm.
Yes.
That's the easy part. It really is. It's fun because you don't have to deal with the crying. You don't have to deal with the diapers. You don't have to deal with the whining. You can, and then I call my wife. What do I do in this situation? Well, I can't. I'm busy. I'm gonna. I guess you're busy. I guess I'll change the diapers. Fine. Like, and then I'm thinking like I'm Mr. Mom. I was like,
You were.
but I couldn't complain because I was living the dream. I'm like, I just record a couple of commercials between naps. And there were times I'd be holding my son and burp, and I'm like, shh, quiet. I'd be in the booth recording. That's happened so many times. And the producers everybody was very, accepting of that. And they were very flexible with that. And they knew that. And they were like, listen, we've all been there. And it's just,
Wow.
society's just got to stop this whole crap of like, this is a woman's job. This is a man. It's just shut up and do the job. Just, it's
Completely, Joe.
years.
That's amazing. And good for you for building up your job while you had another job and raising your son at home and being a true partner with your wife and letting her go do her thing. That's what we always say to each other and our husbands are like that as well, and just say, go do your thing, go do your job.
Yep. And I think, Lindsay, we're very lucky. Like, there's a very even division of labor and responsibilities in our houses. It doesn't, I don't ever have to say to my husband, like, you said you were going to fix that, 2 months ago. And you did, like, you just do what you're supposed to do. And like, Joe, for you and your wife, do you feel like, there's just sort of an ease of like dividing and conquering there?
Yeah, it's like, she's like, hey, you're going to be home today. Obviously, can you just do me a favor? Can you break down all the cardboard boxes in the garage so we can recycle it? Oh, hey, can you put a quick piece of drywall up? Because I'm framing out a fireplace in my bedroom. And it's all this work. So I'm like, I'll do all that stuff. She can sand and paint. There's she's at ballet with my daughter right now because she knows how to do this. Normally, I would take her, well, my wife can just kind of study and relax at home because she's trying to, pass all her certifications to be a financial planner. So she's doing all that, and at the same time working it. So it's like, just if I can do it, yeah. If you can do it, yeah. Like, I love cleaning the kitchen. I love grocery shopping. That's why I was laughing. I'm like, how does Liz not want to grocery shop? It's the best. I love it. I don't know what it is. You just go in there, you make a list, or you just go, well, what do I need? And then just throw whatever you want. Cause there's an Aldi that just opened up down the street from us, and the prices are amazing. And I'm at the point like, I don't even have to look at the prices. Just go fill up the whole thing. $135, $140. You get a ton of, it's awesome. I got a cheese pizza for $4.99. Large $4.99. Cereal, $1.35.
Serious?
What?
And they sell like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. They sell Golden.
Yes, that's my cereal, Joe. That is my cereal.
But then they also have the, cinnamon crunchy toast. Like
the knockoff.
But the thing is, it's made in the same factory. They just separate and put it in a different
Mhm.
bucket. They take all the yellow dye. Like there's no artificial dyes. That's what I like about Aldi. It's like the European model,
Mm.
but it's like $1.35 for a box of cereal. You
We
can.
need Aldi.
Yes.
It is amazing. And I just throw what literally, I'm like, I don't even look at the prices. I'm like, that's gonna be like $135. I got my Butterball turkey yesterday, 87 cents a pound. I had to go right when they opened because everybody else was getting turkeys, but like 87, got a 20 pound turkey for like $17. Boom. Thanksgiving is gonna be lit. Like,
Hey,
God.
who's doing the cooking, Joe?
it's split because my wife's going to be making all the Polish food because her and her family are Polish and from Poland. So they'll make that. I'll do the turkey. I got to brine it. I got to start brining it on like probably Monday or Tuesday. And just, I'm excited. Like I love the holidays. So it's like,
Yes.
Mhm.
it's divide and conquer. Just do what you got to do. Shut up. And like, but she loves doing the, like, because we're big DIY people. We're on our
Mhm.
third house. We bought our first house in Boston for a steal, fixed it up ourselves, sold it for a profit, moved just outside of Boston to Salem, bought that house, fixed it, and it was a brand new house, but we didn't like what was, how it was built. So we just, we did a lot of cosmetic work, a lot of YouTube, a lot of Google how to do stuff, a lot of going to
Jeez,
Home Depot
wow.
and swearing because I got the wrong, and people are like, how did you guys do such a good job? Because everybody sees the final product. They don't see the swearing. They don't see like, are you like, how did you mess up and buy that? Well, that's what you told me to know. That's what you heard. That's, like
Yeah.
Mhm.
picking up new swear words at the same time. You waste a lot of gas because you got to go back and forth to the store. So, and it's just learning. So now we're at the point where she loves to decorate. She loves to go to estate sales and auctions, and you buy cheap. And sometimes I'll get something on like Facebook Marketplace, fix it up, sell it for a huge profit. Like, and people don't realize that it's that entrepreneurial.
I was gonna
Mhm.
say,
And
you guys both have that.
yeah, and I didn't always had it. It was something that like we did a lot of DIY stuff and made big profits on houses. And then we said, oh, there's something to this. You don't have to just go work and work and work and spend a lot of money. It's sweat equity. That's all it is. It's like, that's why I got the excavator. I paid $250 to rent it for today. And I'm just digging up a bunch of stuff, leveling it off. And it cost me $250 instead of hiring it out for a couple grand. So people don't want to do that. Like people don't just want to like take their time and do stuff. And
They want the easy way
Mhm.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and there's a difference between investing in yourself. There's a difference between like spending money on yourself to invest in your business or whatever, or spending, I'm just trying to be smart with the money. That's all it is. And
Mhm.
so I'm not broke because too many friends I have, they have that $800,000 condo in Charlestown and right outside of Boston and $45,000 for parking.
Mhm.
Where's your money going, dude? Well, I mean, and I'm not judging, but it's just so frustrating that people my age don't realize that you don't have to be spending $1 million. Like you could just relax.
Mhm.
Don't go broke doing all this stuff.
And you and your wife obviously are on the same page about, finances, how to manage your money and spend your money, which is like a huge thing, I think, for couples. And, just all the DIY stuff. There's like a real pride in ownership there, right? Anybody, or not anybody, but people could go out and buy something brand spanking shiny and new, but it's not really, doesn't reflect their personality. It doesn't have any character. And when you take the time to kind of, make something your own, there's that sort of pride, and it reflects, who you are and who your family is.
And it's a lot of fun too, because
Mhm.
it's something like, or then you got to think like, do I spend $200 on this chair that's worth $1,500 and then spend $300 to reupholster it? So I'm like, all right, so I'm like almost $600 into it, but it's worth double that. Could I sell? You start to think about this. Like,
Mhm.
is it worth driving to Exeter, New Hampshire, pay $250 for a rug that's worth like $5,000? Do I make the 5-hour trip? So they were constantly doing that. I'll be in the booth working. My phone will buzz. I'll look at it really quick. All right, what's the link she sent me today? And you look at, actually, yeah, I'll give her a thumbs up real quick. Yeah, let's get it because you can sell it for a profit. Like, it's just fun. You can keep it or you can sell it. You're constantly thinking like, I don't have to go to just Home Goods or just
Mhm.
IKEA. You can get the nice stuff. Don't pay full price. Nobody should ever pay full price for anything. Like,
We
wait till
agree.
the first
Mhm.
We're sales ladies.
yeah, exactly. Wait till somebody rich passes away, natural causes, their long life. I hope they live. But then you're like, all right, if I can get their, $1,500 chest for $35 a piece, shine up all the brass and the copper on it, it looks
Mhm.
brand new now. It's like,
Yeah.
and there's something fun about it. There's always something fun about, I got a deal on this. And you don't have to brag to anybody, you know, but it's just like, man, I got a good deal on this. Like,
Mhm.
feel good. You're like, look at these suckers paid $3,000 for this.
I know.
Idiots. Like,
So Joe, tell us a little bit about how you built up your voiceover business so it could become your full-time gig, and how that kind of transitioned into TikTok and how that all took off. And I will admit I have a very rudimentary understanding of TikTok. So
I'm not even like, but yeah, I mean, 15 years ago, I always did independent films and theater. And then I met friends who I was on a set, they were pitching a show to PBS. And I said, well, that sounds fun, because they heard me doing voices. I was doing something on set, and I've always wanted to do voiceover, but I never thought about it. And then so I just started Googling. I don't know if Google was 15 years ago. Yeah, I think Google or one of those search engines, Yahoo or something.
Yahoo,
And
probably.
like,
yeah.
how do I get into voiceover? I literally just type that in, and then you need this microphone, you need this. So slowly I just bought a microphone, hid in my walk-in closet, went on YouTube and just tried to learn as much as possible. And then couple years went by, and I realized, oh, it's not just getting an agent, because I've only had an agent for like 5 years maybe, and I have 6 of them, and I've only ever booked 4 jobs through all of my agents. It's marketing. So
You do a good job of marketing yourself.
and
Yeah.
it's fun. It's you know, I said this on a show last week. It's almost like buying lottery tickets and scratch off tickets. Like, it gets addicting, because you'll call somebody, you'll email, you'll send them a DM on LinkedIn, and it's all these places, just these little touches trying to get people's attention, and you're just selling yourself. You're building relationships. So it's, you know, when I first started out, I would look up on Google, ad agencies or video production companies, and just look at that. And I wouldn't do the whole copy paste, send it out to 1 million people, and hopefully something bites. I would literally look at the company and say, oh man, they make really good stuff. How can I work with them? And at first I would be like, hey, I'm just a voice actor, not just, I'm a voice actor. And, I'm looking to work with these people. Here's my demos. Are you hiring? And then I slowly realized it's not like that. It's dating. So I would find a commercial they made. I would download it legally, wink, wink, dub it over as Arnold. I would literally, that's because my strength was the impressions. And now my strength is just talking in my own voice and doing my own, and feels really good, because for so long I was just doing character work. I was just doing voices, but I would get in the door for what I was good at, really good at, to get their attention. And I dubbed a Doritos commercial, and now the company who did this is like one of my biggest clients. And I would just dub it as Arnold. And I would be like, hey, well, listen, let me tell you, these Doritos are fantastic, right? They're going to get you very heavy, so don't eat a lot of them. But I mean, let me tell you. And I would just do all this stupid stuff. And they would be like, oh my God. And I would think, oh, they like that. How can I get more people to do that? So I would have an email signature. So I was trying to think of ways to sell myself even further without saying, hey, this is who I am. So you see the email signature, my name, my website, my studio phone number, and all that stuff, and select credits. So then they see, oh, he's done this, he's done this, he's done this. And then you use social media to your advantage. You post stuff that interests you, because I try not to do the trends. I always do stuff that shows who I am. Because so many people on TikTok and stuff, they'll do all the trends and the dances, and like, I just want to do what I do. And if you love something, and if you're good at it, people are gonna enjoy that, and it'll snowball. So I use the social media, I use the emails, I use the LinkedIn, and it's just trying to get people's attention, and not being annoying. Sometimes you do have to be annoying. So sometimes it's like, I'm just gonna go numb, and I'm just gonna contact as many people as possible, because it's a numbers game. And then eventually, while I was working the daytime job, I just slowly built up a list of clients who I work with on a regular basis. They literally just send me stuff. And I'm also doing auditions through my agents too, because those are the opportunities for the bigger jobs. But it's not waiting for that big job to come. It's doing the $250 job, the $500 job. So you do enough of those. Those are the bread and butter jobs. And then you're just making a really good living. And then, yeah, maybe if I get another cartoon or another video game, those are like, oh, heck yeah, I'm going to put some money in the bank. And you don't always want to be chasing that unicorn. You want to just do the stuff that's going to pay the rent, pay the mortgage, pay the bills, and just keep you happy. And I don't have to make $1 million. I'm just happy that I don't have to go somewhere and work for somebody. I'm happy. I can take my kids to school. I can pick them up if I need to. I get to take them to ballet, to dance, to soccer. And like, that's success to me. I have to be that millionaire dude and famous dude, but
Right. You're doing your own dream. You're working for yourself and you're doing what you wanted to do on your own terms and making your own schedule, which is what everyone wants to do.
That's the definition of success.
hmm So I have to tell you a funny story about one of your favorite people to impersonate.
sure.
So Arnold lives part-time in a town that I used to live in with my husband, and my parents retired there. And his best friend also lives there. And I was a golf cart girl back in the day. This is a person that drives the beverage cart.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I golf all the time.
Okay. So
I usually bring my own beers. But
okay. Hey, all the power to you because it's overpriced on the cart. And so I became friends with Arnold's best friend. I didn't know he was Arnold's best friend, but I'd see him out on the golf course all the time. And his name was Audie, and super nice guy. And he got to know me, and I was telling him about my dad. He's retired and he loves to play golf. And he said, "Oh, well, we'll set up a threesome or foursome for golf." And I said, "Great." And he's invited and we'll play with Arnold.
no way.
And I was like, Arnold? Like, is there another Arnold?
Yeah, no, exactly.
And so I like raced the golf cart to my parents' house. So they live on the golf course.
Yep.
And I like illegally parked it, which I was like, this thing's gonna get hit. I'm gonna get, yeah. Well, it was like by the hole. And
Oh.
so I was like, they're gonna, all the members were real uptight. And
Yeah,
so I was like, I'm gonna get in trouble, but this is so worth it. So I like run down, get in the back deck, and I'm like, "Mom, Dad, you'll never believe this. Like, Dad just got invited to play golf with Arnold."
Oh my goodness.
And I'm like heart's beating out of my chest. And so my dad, who doesn't get starstruck, was like, "What?"
That's awesome.
And so the big day came, and he asked me like 5 times what he should wear. Oh, so cute. And my mom was like, my dad had a problem with cussing, and
You come by it honestly.
And so my mom's like, "Do not cuss. Like, whatever you do, like, be a gentleman and do not cuss." And my dad's like, okay. But he was like stressed, thinking like,
Yeah.
I have to play golf good. Like, my dad was a good golfer.
You can't
And
do better. That's tough golfing.
right? And it messes with, it's a mental game. So he was already stressed out. My mom's in his ear. I'm in his ear. He's like, "Everyone, just shut up." So he goes, and apparently and that day I was working too. I was driving the cart.
Yeah.
So, and you have to park the cart on the top of the hill. So I wasn't going to see him until the 7th hole. So I'm nervous, and I'm like, "What the hell?" My dad's bound to, like, we used to call him Clark W. Griswold.
Yeah.
That is any indication of what could go wrong.
Yep.
I see them pull up, and I'm like nervously sitting there, and I'm like, "Dad, how's it going?" And he's like, "Good." And I guess what happened on the very first hole, Arnold's got pecs, obviously.
Yeah.
So when you're trying to golf with big pecs, that's probably super hard.
Yeah.
And he lets off an F-bomb right at the first tee. So my dad's like, "Okay, well, there goes
Yep.
fuck, shit."
Right.
Yeah.
Rest
That's
is
a good
on.
icebreaker, though. Like, kind of levels the playing field.
So that day, they played the rest of the holes. I met them on the back nine. My mom like it wasn't obvious. She came to meet me on the back nine.
Yeah.
And so then I couldn't let this pass. We usually don't bug any actors
Right.
in the town that we live in part-time. And my dad was like, we have to get a picture. Like, we have to have proof that this day happened in my life. And so he asked Audie if it was okay to get a picture. And so we have a picture of Arnold, Audie, my dad, and myself on their first day of golfing.
That's fantastic.
Awesome.
Can you imagine just dropping an F-bomb as you swing?
It's seriously. And then the best was on their very last hole.
Smoking a stogie.
My dad got caught in a sand trap, and Arnold goes, Roger, and you could probably do this impression way better than he's like, why don't you hit the ball back towards the tee? And my dad goes, I'm pretty sure, Arnold, this isn't how the game works.
I mean, it's all the way over there. I mean, you're never getting out of the sand, right? I mean, come on.
Can you imagine?
Seriously.
Smoking a big stogie. I mean,
Yes.
you put it, hey, just hit it the other way.
Yes.
We do this. Look at the cart girl. Go talk to her. Can you get her number?
Imagine if you had
Arnold, that's my daughter.
Right, all right. This is very embarrassing, right?
Oh my God. It's such a good
So just to let you know, he is a very nice man, and
That's cool.
he played golf with my dad, and we have a picture. And so I was excited to tell you that story.
That'd be the best day ever.
Yes, it was really cool, and will go down as one of my dad's favorites.
Oh,
Joe, Lindsay and I were wondering, so you have obviously done tons of impressions of different celebrities. Was there ever a time where a celebrity got, upset that you were impersonating them or anything like that?
Arnold has heard me do him. He had to sign off on something that I was doing to do his voice, so he's aware of me. I've never heard anything bad. Ice-T loves my impression of him, which is cool.
That's
Man,
awesome.
what up, man? This is Ice-T, man. We're on the set of Law and Order SVU. So, like, he heard that. He's like, Christopher Lloyd, Doc Brown, he FaceTimed me a few weeks ago. This
Oh
my
my
phone
gosh.
going off, and my buddy Josh Gates from Expedition
Oh,
Unknown.
I love that show.
So he FaceTimed me. He's like, hey, Joe, what's up? I'm like, wow, what's up, Josh? He's like, listen, I got somebody here who wants to talk to you. And Christopher Lloyd grabs the phone. He's like, Marty. I'm like, Doc, it's the Doc.
Oh my
where's
gosh.
the Doc? And he's just like, and he was like, and he was doing all these, it was so cool. And I wasn't like starstruck. It was just like, holy crap. I'm like, Chris, what's up? How you doing, buddy? And he was just like, no, we're just on set hanging out. I'm like, that's awesome. And he was like, can I say hi to your son? And I was like, Will, look, it's the Doc, it's Christopher Lloyd. And he went, great Scott. Like he was doing all the stuff to my son. And it was just like, I was just so cool. I'm like, holy crap.
That's
It was-
amazing.
that was
That's
cool.
like,
Because I became an actor because of Back to the Future. I saw it and I was like, I want to do that when I grow
that's
up.
your movie.
And it was just so,
Wow.
it was so cool. It was so cool. But yeah, nobody's ever been like upset that I've done. Because I try to like keep it respectful. Like I do stupid stuff in the voices, but I never like would do anything like to get them in trouble or I mean I've
Right.
gotten tables at restaurants like calling up and making reservations. I've done that.
We were wondering about
That was my follow-up
I've
question.
done that in New York City as Ice-T and I've done that as Arnold at restaurants. And I would call his watch. There was a watch dealer in Beverly Hills and Arnold was doing a movie and I called up.
Hey, listen, I want to have some watches made, all right? This is very important, all right? I want the face to be really big, and we've got like 800 watches that we want to have made, all right?
They're like, and what is the timeline?
I'm like 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh, there's no way we can do that.
Well, I tried.
And then you just kind of fun stuff like that. And I've gotten tables, and it is funny. Like, and I would call like, and I would use like hi, my name is Michael Del Vecchio. I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger's personal assistant. We have a friend. His name is Joe. We just want to get a table for him and his wife. They'll be in about 4:30, 5 o'clock. And I'm like, Arnold wants to just, confirm that this is okay. And I was like, Arnold,
Yeah, what do they want?
can you just confirm the reservation?
Yeah, hi. And they want to talk. Yeah, absolutely. Give him a table. I mean, he will pay. I will not pay for him, right?
And then So it was like I would never like get tables and get free food, so I would pay. But just to do stuff like that, it's like that's the only really time I've done that. I don't do like the drive-through window pranks that like people do on you, because I'm like, everybody's like, you got to do those videos. I'm like, I'm 36. I'm like, I'm not that 20-year-old kid doing the stupids, because it's like I hate doing the stuff that's been done. Because like if you
Right.
people are like, do the quotes, if you want the quotes, just go watch the movie. I like to say stuff in this in you know, stuff they wouldn't say. Like it's just, that's what's fun for me.
Right.
Yeah, it's
But-
fun. It gets old sometimes, but it is fun. Just because the comments on videos, and like I get probably 100 to 200 DMs a week asking like, can you do this, do that? And it wouldn't even be like, hey, how are you, man? I really appreciate the work. It's just like, do Arnold, do Christopher Walken. And it's like, that's what it says, do Arnold, do Walken, Family Guy, Peter Griffin. I'm like, I don't stop. Go watch.
That's hilarious.
I'm not-
They think like
And
you're
I'm
like
not-
a deli. Like this is what I want.
Yeah, what do you want? A half a pound of white American sliced thin? What do you want? Like, you idiots. Like, and I feel bad. I don't mean to say idiot, but it's like it gets frustrating.
Right.
Mhm. You're not a carnival act.
But I get asked the same questions all the time, which is fine, because I do have to remember it's probably their first time asking. Do you know what I mean? Like, but for me, and I'm a nobody, like in the grand scheme of things. So these really famous celebrities, like Arnold, he handles it with grace, because he walks in, does his thing, signs this, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then it's an all day thing. It's an everyday thing. And like, I never get recognized, which I'm totally, that's why I like voiceover. People hear me, but I never get recognized. But it's like, I when I'm not doing it, I don't want to do it. I just want to relax.
Yeah.
Like when I go live on like TikTok and stuff, that's the big one. Do this, I'm like, I just want to hang out, guys, and say hi.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what's everybody doing this weekend? Boring. Do Walken. Do Arnold. When you do it, sounds nothing like him.
Oh my God.
Why did you ask? Like,
Yeah, it's like turn it on.
yeah,
I
it's-
have to say that I did watch your Dunkin' Donuts skit, and it was freaking hilarious, because as a West Coast girl who has adopted the East Coast people,
yeah.
it is.
Oh wait, was it the one me on my bike, on my son's bike?
Yes. It is so good, Joe.
It was because it's like I have a thick Boston accent if I'm not like talking proper. So I was like, oh, like I just made up the character, Richie Scop. Hey, what's going on? This is Richie Scopoletti. What's going on, guys? Donuts are like, and living in Boston, everybody drinks it, and that's like the stereotypical person in Boston
Right.
who would drink that, who would hang out downtown Boston on a bike that's not his because he got a couple of DUIs. Like it is totally that guy. And scally cap and just like the cigarette hanging out of his mouth, you know. But it's like, that's so Boston. And
I
like,
know.
Mhm.
I want to do more stuff with that character. And it's like, anything's funny in that, like, you know, stupid videos.
It is, and that's why the last two Saturday Night Live skits that have made fun of Boston, the Dunkin' Donuts with Casey Affleck, and then they did a Sam Adams.
Like, he's got the cigarette outside the door. Hey, I'm on, and that's what it's so dead on.
It's spot on.
And they'll have the cigarette in their mouth, and they'll be, which what? And they'll hang out, and they'll laugh, and laugh on the side of their mouth. Oh my God, it's so true. Adam going,
Oh, that's amazing. All right, so should we transition to what's in the box?
Yes.
Joe, you want to kick us off? Did you get any weird and wacky deliveries this week or during the pandemic?
not like weird and wet. Like, yeah, I've done the toilet paper, I've done the paper towels, but mostly it's just been like stuff for the kids. You know, I bought soap. I bought bars of soap. I switched to bars of soap now, like, because I'm a big Duke Cannon fan. Duke Cannon, they make soaps and like just like men's hygiene products. Love Duke Cannon. So I just been buying up a ton of stuff, and I'm like trying to get a partnership with them so they can send me free stuff and I can do videos for them. But like, I love Duke. I just been ordering a ridiculous amount of soap. I mean, it's not
I
weird,
don't
but
know what
like,
Duke
you
Cannon
have-
is.
so
You
look
will
it up.
have to turn us on to Duke Cannon.
Yes, they make soaps, they make shampoos, they make and I think it's like 5 or 10% of their net proceeds every year go to veterans. So it's like really
Oh.
cool. It's a really cool product and a business model. So I was like, oh, this is awesome, and they're really good products. So
Okay. Well, that's nice. We'll have to check that out.
Definitely.
Liz, what's in your box?
Yeah, so this could be my most glamorous pandemic purchase to date, folks. I got a new toilet seat in the mail because my 8-year-old son broke ours.
Oh, nice.
And you might ask yourself, how does one break a toilet seat? And I don't know, but he is a not so gentle giant, and literally, I mean, you know him, Lindsay, like he breaks everything he touches. Like he's on his like 5th pair of headphones this pandemic. Like I'll look over and like one of the things is like hanging and like the wire's exposed. And I'm like, Braids, what happened? And he's like, I don't know. I just took them off and they fell apart. Like that's what he does. He touches things and then they're immediately destroyed. So he somehow managed to break our toilet seat, and I had to get a new one. Please.
It's an emergency.
So,
It's like, this toilet is not open enough. Rip. Now it's fine. Like,
I mean, that's what he's like. And every time he goes in the bathroom, it's just like slam, bang, bam. I'm like, oh dear God.
you miss the toilet like my son all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's my glamorous purchase this week.
It's pretty awesome. So in my box, it's never too early to start Christmas shopping. Joe, I don't know about in your house if you guys split up the Christmas shopping or if your wife does a lot of it.
Half and half, but yeah.
Yeah. So in my house, I do it all, and my husband does his for me basically on December 23rd, maybe the 24th, where he ends up basically at CVS if I'm lucky, because Amazon can't deliver that fast. So I started and tried to get a little creative because my son and my husband are very hard to shop for. So I was on Etsy, and because they never tell me or the grandparents what they want. So I was searching and searching, and a Cobra Kai sweatshirt like showed up, and our son watches that show with us, and it's like super badass because Johnny Lawrence has turned a corner and is super amazing, right?
Team Johnny.
So hopefully my son is not in earshot, but so he's got a Cobra Kai No Mercy sweatshirt coming.
I love it.
So when I got it though, it was one of those things for 2 minutes that I like got it and I was like, this is rad. And then I'm like, is this one of those purchases he's gonna think is rad, or he's gonna be like, oh, mom? And I thought having preteens and teenagers is like having a magic 8-ball like all the time. It's like shaking and it's like concentrate and ask again, or reply hazy. Better not tell you now, because there's a myriad of answers like these that will come up whenever you try and predict what they're gonna think. And so I'm just gonna go with it. And if he hates it, then guess who's representing Cobra Kai in this house?
Mom has a new sweatshirt.
Win-win.
And the magic 8-ball says, as I see it, yes. So if your Christmas list is long and your to-do list is longer, remember the silver lining of COVID. You aren't supposed to go anywhere. So put your heels or your sneakers up, Joe, and pour yourself a spiked eggnog. Put on some Christmas tune, do some finger flexes to get your hands ready for speed shopping around Amazon and Etsy, because before Mariah Carey hits the high note on All I Want for Christmas, you'll be done shopping because you've got this. We're going out on a high note. So Joe, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun. This was awesome.
It was amazing to catch up. You are doing it. You're following your dreams. You're doing everything awesome, even if you think you're not. It's amazing to hear how you're parenting and doing your business and living the dream. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And I want to see proof of the Arnold picture soon. So
okay, I will have my mom take a picture and send it.
I have a photo, so
yes. And it's very cool to have you on because 20% of our listenership is men, which we were kind of surprised about. So everyone, please go follow Joe on TikTok at I am Joe Gaudet, spelled Gaudet.
Got it.
And LinkedIn because he's very funny, as you can see. And follow us on social media, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook at Multitasking in Heels. And we are also on iTunes and Spotify, everywhere you find your podcasts. Please subscribe, rate, and review as it helps people find us. So thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Bye, Joe.
Bye, Joe.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Good luck in the backyard today.
Yes.
I'm gonna go put the boots on and I can't wait.
It's a beautiful day for it.
Enjoy your Saturdays and Sundays.
Thank you again. We super appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.